December 12th, 2023, 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the Town of Lake Mills Town Board monthly meeting to order. It was supposed to at the Town Hall on the town's website. Can we get a motion to amend the agenda?
I make a motion to amend the agenda. I'm going to move item 11D and 11G up between 8 and 9.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. You know, can you get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, minutes.
Make a motion to approve November's special meeting minutes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the meeting of the electors.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now,
I make a motion to approve the town board minutes of November 14th.
That public hearing first, sorry.
Should we go in
Put
there?
that in bold,
yeah, there's a public hearing right here.
Oh, no.
That'll
Public,
be up there,
the public hearing.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Make a motion
carries.
to approve November 14th town board meeting minutes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the December's treasurer's report.
Second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion to approve the town board's expense sheets?
I don't think we had any.
Nothing, I didn't see. Okay, can we get a motion to approve the general fund vouching?
Make a motion to approve December's disbursements of $119,505.25.
I will second that for discussion.
Any other discussion?
Yeah. I got a question on Coons stormwater review. That's going to be billed to Coons, correct?
We can do that, yes.
Well, it's,
Should we make that a motion, however?
well, they were told that,
Okay,
and it's in our ordinance. So.
all right, we'll make sure we refer to the ordinance then.
And then somebody explained the drug task force wages. If we have 161 hours that we're supposed to contribute to as personnel,
Yeah, so they hire part-time people to do drug enforcement work undercover. And we are part of the Jefferson County Drug Task Force. And every member agency, which is every agency in the county, pays based on population. So we pay an equal share. And the part-time officer wages went up from $21 an hour to $30 an hour. For this year, they did not cover the number of hours that have been promised. They've been having a shortage of staff as well. So they're trying to retool and do a better job next year to get the hours in.
so it's not necessarily our officers putting in the hours.
No, it is not us.
Okay, then the second question is just why do only the cities, villages, and Town of Lake Mills and Oakland? Because they're the only ones with police departments, or?
So the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department runs it. And then Watertown, Fort Atkinson, Lake Mills, all the townships that have police. Yes, every agency that has police, I believe, pays, and then the county administers the whole thing. And they have 4 full-time people assigned to it.
So,
I don't understand.
I think, was there,
Big
the coverage was done by full-time, does that mean that there weren't as much coverage for the grant? Is that what I was reading in that explanation?
So they have a person assigned to us, but on any given day, it could potentially be someone else. It could be a full-time staff member. It could be, I believe they're supposed to try to maintain that one-on-one directly, but not always people are available like that. So I mean, we might not always be getting the same person. Does that answer your question, Jim, or what's the?
Well, I'm just wondering why, could the town of Lake Mills opt out of it? I think we agreed to it, correct?
Yeah, many years ago.
Many years ago, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
To answer your question directly, yes, you can opt out if you.
Okay, so that's why the other townships in the county don't participate, because they have not. Originally,
I
it
think it's
started
just-
out,
yeah.
we put officers in places around.
You can do that. So if we wanted to, we could put one of our part-time person into the drug task force and pay that person directly.
Okay, you answered my question. It's fine, I mean, it's $5,000, I guess, going to a good cause, and
And it's the same dollar amount that we pay our part-time people now anyway, so.
we budget for that, correct? A separate line item?
It's within his budget, the
Oh,
drug
okay.
task force
Yep.
is
Okay.
covered, yeah.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Reports, police report. Chief Silk.
So for November, obviously we're backing down with winter coming. So we had Kevin and Ryan put in between the two of them about 32.25 hours. Kevin, as you know, is done at the end of this month, and so he is wrapping up some of his stuff. He had some of his duties that he's passing on to myself and Sergeant Walters, so we spent some administrative time taking care of that. So with their patrol time, they handled a damage to mailbox, a medical call, assisted the city with the arcing wires. We have a barking dog complaint that's been ongoing. And then they made a total of, I think, 10 traffic stops with 1 repair notice, 3 warnings, and 11 citations issued. Total of 5 hours of radar and 2 hours, 2 residential house checks and 6 park checks.
Okay, thanks, Chief Silk. Jim, Plan Commission report.
We had a discussion on the town ordinance 5-4, and I'll explain those recommendations from the Plan Commission later on at the agenda item for that item. And then Steve Nass explained the erosion control and stormwater ordinance that the county wants information on from the towns. So I can talk more about that at
We got that on
that
here.
agenda item too.
Yep.
That's it.
Cambridge Fire and EMS report. Dave.
Nothing to report.
Joint Rock Lake Committee report. I didn't get one. Robin, you didn't see anything come in?
No, they didn't have a meeting this month.
Yeah, it's not till, yeah, okay. Town Chairman report, City, County, State Communications, not a whole lot to report. I just attended the last week's city meeting, and they talked about the purchase of the ladder truck. As far as roads are concerned, just give a quick road report if I can get in here. Okay, so the certifications, road rating stuff has all been submitted. Corey will have some recommendations of some crack filling and overlays and stuff for 24. Mud Lake Road, we've already know that that's been submitted. North Bend launch survey was completed, so he's got all that done. Once the launch width is set, we can finalize design and submit for DNR Chapter 30 permits. And then Rock Lake Road, wetland delineation, they did complete all that stuff at the end of the growing season before all the leaves and stuff started falling off, and he doesn't anticipate any problems there. Additional grant funding is not available for that project, and there potentially could be some more increases in asphalt prices. So we'll definitely want his recommendation to have Jefferson County bid on the project as well. So that's what I got there. All right, Parks Committee report, we're meeting Thursday. All right, Town Hall Facilities Committee.
We reviewed the referendum question that was provided by the town's attorney. We have more questions on it, so we need some more guidance from him. We have that on the agenda later. We set up kind of a timeline of what's gonna happen over the next couple months between notifications that need to go out, public participation, communications to the public before the election.
Okay. That it?
That it?
Yep, okay.
Just taking notes, sorry.
All right, that's all right. This, time for a period of public comment. The general public can speak at this time. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and step to the podium and say your name and address.
Jason Russ, Fire Chief, City of Lake Mills. Address 63 Brookstone Drive, Lake Mills, Wisconsin. I just wanted to step up tonight and let you guys know, our department has gone through a lot of change over the last roughly about 5.5, 6 months. One of those promotions was Chief Assistant Andre retired from the department after 44 years of service with us, and that means that there's a promotion of a new Assistant Chief, and tonight I just wanted to announce Assistant Chief Steve Gardner. Steve's been a longstanding member of the Lake Mills community, Lake Mills Fire Department as a whole, and just wanted to advise of his promotion to his position.
Thanks, Chief Russ. And congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Any other public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay. Now we're at the amended part of the agenda, which will be 11D, discussion or decision of fire protection contract renewal with the City of Lake Mills. Wanted to get this on here as a placeholder because that is coming up, I believe, in 2024.
Actually,
at the end of 24.
it expires this month, the 31st.
31st, okay. Now I gotta dig it out here because we're out of order here.
Yeah.
Then it just renews on an annual basis, unless either party negotiates or writes a letter to the other.
Yeah, and I think that, doesn't that have to be done by July?
Yeah, we missed that date for 24.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it, it's gonna be 25, July 1st,
July 1st and 24.
24,
24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4/25.
Yeah, right, yeah. So let's see, terms of contract, there's something else I saw here too.
I don't think this has been revised in a while.
No,
20
20 years.
20 years, so,
It coincided when they built the new fire station,
yeah.
put in place. Town of Lake Mills signed 20-year with them. I don't think any other township did a 20-year. They signed contracts, but it was,
Jake wasn't here.
no, I know, I signed it.
Yeah, Jim
So,
signed it.
I knew chair that. Town of Lake Mills is the only one that basically was really required to sign the 20-year contract. Because we paid 32 to 35% of the fire budget. And that fire station is 20 years old. The one is.
Built the last 50, right?
100.
100. All right.
Brick and mortar normally will make for 100. Well,
Oh, that's a good question.
design is a 100-year building.
Does that mean the loan is done on that?
Yeah, it should be done in March, right?
Okay.
I think, is when the loan is done?
The last principal and interest payment is next year, I believe, yeah, March, I think is correct.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Well, I think in 24, we'll just want to be able to scrutinize that before July
Yep.
very well.
Yeah.
Keep it on here as a placeholder and see if there's any subsequent changes that I'd like to see in that.
Yeah,
Just
were
because
you
of the
guys
age of
looking
it.
at any specific changes? I haven't really reviewed it because it's just automatically renewed.
We haven't looked at specifics yet, but we're happy to start those discussions with you at any time and see if there's anything that we can come to that works out for everybody.
Sure.
But I haven't yet gone through and scrutinized it. But I figure in 2024, we certainly should so that we can prepare for, an extension or whatever terms any of us would like to look at to see if 20-year-old document certainly needs some tweaks.
Yeah.
Well, most things are pretty much obsolete after 3 years these days, so I mean, it just needs to be updated
Yeah.
going forward and, to make it make sense for everything, so.
Yeah.
So are we gonna be doing that between now and the 1st of July? I'd assume, because if you're gonna make any
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, and that's why I want to get it on here as a
Yeah.
placeholder, so we got plenty of time.
What are the contract terms usually? Is it 5 years, 3 years? 20?
I've seen them. I've seen them all over. 20 years is. I've seen a 30-year before. 20 years
Oh, wow.
is on a long one. They're not usually year to year. So it's usually multiple
Right,
years so
right.
communities can plan. But there's a large variety of term lengths on agreements like this.
Right, yeah.
I think 5 is, this
That's
day and
what I'm
age,
wondering.
because things can change so
Yeah.
rapidly.
I agree with Jim. I think
Flexibility.
when this was done, it was to coincide with the 20-year arm that was on the
Fire station, yeah, which would make sense.
Yeah, we really need to sit down to see, what you guys are seeing in the future. That crystal ball
Yeah.
is so clear.
Yeah, not. Rick, do you want to just keep it on as a placeholder, or you want to table it?
Just keep it on as a placeholder.
Are we gonna just kind of put some ideas together and then have a little workshop?
We probably should have a
Fire
work
station?
session, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe aim for, I want to say April, because we got elections in April, but
Yeah.
May,
oh, dude,
you want to go that
let's
far?
talk March.
March, all
I
right?
was gonna say,
Okay.
he's thinking planting
Yeah,
season.
I'm thinking it's gonna
Oh,
be
you got
warm
plant
up
season,
and
that's
nice.
right. My bad, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jim, what do you think?
March is
Yeah, I
fine.
think March. It takes, an attorney a while to draw things up.
Yep.
Things.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll have to sit down with the city and negotiate some things, I suppose.
Yeah.
well, just see if there's any general updates, and the attorney should be able to.
Well, the last time the city attorney wrote it, so it didn't cost us anything.
Yeah,
And then we just talked about it. So I would hope that would happen again, but we'll see.
okay.
Yeah, if we have a conversation, we can take a run at a first draft.
Okay. Sounds great. All right.
G.
Amended item G, discussion or decision of setting up a discussion with the city manager and staff regards to the shared services, fire protection, and other intergovernmental agreement opportunities. It's kind of along the same lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the item on there, one of the items that drew, bringing this back to the table too, is the purchase of the ladder truck. This kind of blindsided everybody. Obviously with a massive expense. Town budgets are, going forward, are very, very strapped. Very strapped, especially with the addition of upgraded EMS and things like that. Roads, in fact, you probably didn't pay attention to our meetings, but we just went after 50,000 more for our roads because you can't keep up. And that was at our electors meeting, so, we're just, pinching where we can, and it's, there's not a lot of give and take, so when big purchases happen, it's not good going forward.
Sure, and we'll be talking about the ladder truck again next week, Tuesday. There's a few different options to discuss. One could be delaying until a 2025, so that principal and interest won't start until 2026. We are hoping to coincide that with the payoff of the building. We're hopeful to have minimal impact on the actual contribution from the contracted entities, so that you may not see a reduction there, but that would continue on in some capacity, based on what the proportional share of it might be. so that you don't see a spike in that line item for you. So that's the hope there. But we're talking about it again next week, Tuesday, with the city council, to figure out how they'd like to proceed.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I think about it like I do with roads, like we're looking out like a couple of years ahead to say like, how can we make this work? You know, from a financial picture, but you know, the year-to-year stuff is almost darn near impossible.
Yeah.
To try to recover it now. I mean, I'm not a, you know, emergency services by any stretch of the imagination's naysayer. I mean, I want to see those things happen. But at the same time, I mean, some of the regulations and some of those things, I mean, the state of Wisconsin's got to wake up on. I mean, I know some of it revolves around safety, but, you know, go to the state of Texas and look at their fire equipment sometime.
Up north and look at some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
they tough it out, you know.
And a lot of this stems from Chief Russ doing an evaluation of that fleet with him getting on board, and he came on a little late this year when we got him on board, and so he's taking a look at the ladder truck we have is 36 years old, he identified, so it had not been on our CIP. I don't know why it hadn't been. Otherwise, from my perspective, I would have liked to, you know, plan for it over time as well. But we're hoping to alleviate some of the costs with sale of an engine, so that we have the ladder truck and 2 engines, and then the ladder truck acts as one of our engines, so we don't have a ladder truck and 3 engines, and then as well as delaying some other purchases off of our CIP that were on there that Chief Russ determined didn't need to be replaced within the next 5 years and have a lot of years left in them without needing to invest more into that fleet. So where the engine, we anticipate, we're hopeful, optimistically can get $200,000 for that one. The current ladder doesn't have much value. We're hoping to get $20,000 out of that one if we move forward with this plan. So hopefully that can take a chunk out of that cost to apply towards that purchase.
What is the cost of
Depending when you buy it, it's between 1.55 and just over 1.6.
Figure 2 million. I mean, things are changing so rapidly. It's all over the place. But
So actually, you know, we were kind of hoping for 20 years that we're going to get a reduction in our budget.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. You know, it's like you can wash it. I mean, it's just like when the courthouse was built in Jefferson, when they raised the sales tax 0.5% and it was paid for, it never went away. You know, it's that you get accustomed to that money. You know, and I know there's recommendations. There's not laws when you have to replace this stuff. What's wrong with a ladder truck other than the age? I mean, it was old when you bought it.
yeah.
So, I mean, and then I guess I get what you're talking about, you know, reducing the number of vehicles to help offset the cost. Now, if you could get $200,000 for an engine, I mean, a used one, that'd be great. I'm not really so sure that's, a lot of times they sell pretty cheap. So for the amount of time that the ladder truck actually goes out on a run, because obviously it's expensive, it's big, you know, compared to, even if you had to stick $100,000 into that truck to update it, it'd be cheaper than buying a new one. And, you know, how much do you really use it, you know, compared to what Jefferson has one, Ford has a couple, and I know to be your own best customer, but I know that's a handful, but just to get to know what you're thinking.
So not to make the meeting draw out, but, so as Drake mentioned, when I came on board, it was July 31st. My first week was to formulate a budget. My second week was to look at any capital improvements. My personal opinion is the department does not need 3 engines, and I think that's one of the reduction costs. That truck valued at about $200,000. The reason it's probably going to pull that is because as a used vehicle, right now it's a 2013, if I remember correctly. That's at its 10-year age mark, where NFPA looks at it as 20 years and then out. So that vehicle's got 10 years left of life on it. So that's what's gonna be able to draw its value. Going to the aerial truck, the aerial device went through a 5-year non-destructive test. This year was its 5-year one. Annually, it goes through a ladder test. This year, the big thing that failed is the drift test measurement. And what that is they set the ladder up. It's got a certain amount of weight on it, and over the course of time, it shows the expectancy on the hydraulic cylinders on it. So that failed. Normally, it's a 1 inch is what's allowed. It went to 2.25 inches on each side. So that's one of the biggest things. There was multiple leaks noticed on the ladder truck. In order to repair that, the way that those hydraulic lines are put together and the way that they're on there, it'd basically be a whole new refurb of that ladder being replaced. The other part where the leaks was in the extensions, the outriggers. Those pretty much are going to have to be all rebuilt. The cylinders, when you talk about the leak down test or the drift test, that means cylinder rebuilding. With a vehicle that's up at 36 years of age, there's not many shops that will do a refurb on a vehicle at this age because there's it's such an extensive cost to get to the point of rebuilding it back to its safe mechanisms. We did have a price quote on it. Rough estimate would be anywhere between $600,000 to $700,000 to do a refurb on it. So you can see at that point you're almost at half the cost of a new ladder truck. When I looked at it and started looking at what the CIP was, the idea was there was approximately about $750,000 in the CIP to replace one of the engines, hopefully utilizing. So in a sense, you're already offsetting that $750,000 from what's already that was out projected in our CIP. The sale of the engine, hopefully getting around $200,000, that gets you up to the $950,000. Maybe the ladder truck would pull a little bit more. However, we're not expecting that. It's going to get you somewhere close to around that $1 million mark. This ladder truck that's out there, not that I'm not saying that it's not quality, but Pierce is the only one that builds a single axle. When you start looking at anything that's a tandem axle, you immediately are up in the 200 or 2 million plus range. So feasible, economical, being fiscally responsible for the communities. This is a vehicle that did fit our need and the area that we cover. It's single axle. You don't have the drag on the tandem axles, saving you maintenance costs. It's tighter turning, easier for training, smaller, basically the same size engine that we're currently operating. Getting into tighter places, out in country rural roads, out on city roads, those types of items. So as far as when I started to break down the cost, that's where we started looking at this vehicle. I apologize, I don't like to walk on the job in 5 months, tell you that you're going to need to, or at least to the city, that they're going to need to replace the most expensive vehicle that they will ever buy. But I look at this as a 30-year vehicle. One of the things is being a chief and assistant chief at other departments in the past, I look at the idea of this vehicle would be a 30-year purchase for the communities. When you know the vehicle versus buying it from somebody else, you have the chance to put it through a refurb at some point in time to extend that out another 10, 15 years. So you can see part of the idea of this is that this would be stretched out over a long period of time. Obviously, CIPs work the way that they do, and paybacks are the way that they are. But we also do have some other mechanical issues that are going on with the ladder truck itself. Radiator replacement, it's a custom one-off. It would have to go down, repaired, put the truck back together in order to get it out. There's a lot of the cab that has to come off. So you can see whichever way that we go with this, there's going to be some large expenses into it.
No, you have the ladder truck and then you have the other, I don't know what they call it, where it's just a boom with a nozzle right in the top.
Yep.
So what do they call those?
Elevated master stream.
So then, would that be a better way to go? I mean, is it cheaper, save about the same amount of money? Is there a reason you need a ladder truck? I know to get on a roof for a chimney fire would be a lot safer, but.
So your difference is there, with an elevated master stream, you don't have a ladder for rescue. I actually, when I was the chief up at Rothschild, Wisconsin, we had what we deemed as a telesquirt. It did have an emergency evacuation ladder on it, which when you saw it, it was really nothing more than an aluminum ladder bolted onto the top of that beam. It's not made to rescue anybody out of it. And it literally was bought for the paper mill across the street. that had higher areas that needed to get water up on top. The way that I look at this ladder truck is it's smaller, it's a reduced cost, it meets the needs, and yet it still maintains that platform. So it ends up being a vehicle that you can still do rescues on, you can still work on chimney fires, elevated rescues from up on top of grain bins, Daybreak Dairy, or Daybreak down the road here, any other developments that come in. Plus, then it is also that elevated waterway as well to get on top of large buildings. Our last 2 fires that we've had have been machine shed fires, so they would have been nice to have that vehicle readily available. It would have fit definitely up Hooper's Mill Road. For those of you that are familiar with that, tighter road, tighter access getting up into that property, where the ladder truck that would have been a tight fit getting it up there. This also takes up smaller space because the jack distance from the outriggers going out is several feet less. So again, when we get out in the country, rural areas that have tighter areas, or even in the city, it doesn't take as much room to set up.
So then the ladder is piped,
Yes.
and there's already gun up there, so nothing has to be carried up there?
The only thing that would have to be carried up there is any chainsaws, rotary saws, ventilation tools, pike poles, those types of things.
Elevation is what, or the lift?
It's 110 feet.
110 feet.
So it's actually 10 more feet than what we currently run.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that this is, it's right or wrong.
I just wanted more, I mean, I saw
Yeah, I
the
already heard.
emails,
Yeah.
the email string, but so thanks,
Yeah.
not to put you guys through all that. but
No, that's,
Just looking for the justification.
that's all right. The one thing that brings to my attention though, and once again, I'm just gonna say it, and I'm not gonna, beat on a broken record, but I think the commission failed, because to not know that this thing was coming down the pipeline, that's the whole reason you have a commission, because that stuff is getting talked about all the time, what these purchases are looking like, and that's why I think having the towns involved on a commission makes a big difference, because that would never would have happened. I can 100% guarantee it. It's just something that it needs to happen. The second thing that I would like to see, and I think the community and our residents in the entire county of Jefferson deserve this, I think all the fire entities should get together, put all their equipment on the table, and say, we all got to help each other out, and we got to keep these costs down. These costs are just, it's out of control right now. With inflation, people are getting killed, and if you can look at your own city plate, what you got coming down the pipeline with a sewage deal and sewage plant and all this stuff, it's crazy. We can't do it. We have to find better ways, and better ways to work together, better ways where somebody from Lake Mills can jump on a Johnson Creek fire truck and the gear is the same and everything else is the same, so everyone can work together. And I think our community and our residents deserve that in Jefferson County, and I think everyone should sit down at the table and start getting together and let's get it done. Because it's just, it needs to happen. Because that truck you're buying, it might be perfect, because there might be other communities that need that truck. It could be the perfect thing that nobody else has. And how do you know till you all sit down? I mean, this is like, and I get it. I mean, when you're in positions like that, you try to do the best you can and the best for your community. But I look at, something that's a little bit bigger here and say, hey, all of Jefferson County, there might be 3 or 4, area communities at a fire. And you want to have the best of the best there, and different things if you need them. And if everyone's got, their little entity and something that they can pitch in that would help those scenarios, that's great. That's what we need.
So getting back to the agenda item.
Yep.
Do we want to set up a meeting
Yep.
with Drake and other reps so we can discuss further fire protection needs? Some of the other things are, we have intergovernmental agreements that probably haven't been looked at for a while, like snow plowing on certain roads within the city, the joint cable
Yep.
thing. I think we've got this agreement or resolution or something that has been looked at for a long time. Now that Drake is here, he's kind of new to the things. We haven't gone through a lot of that, so it'd be good
Right.
to have a conversation with him on that stuff. So.
And Doodle Pool, I mean, it's probably just gonna be us, but I'm betting there's other townships that are in the same boat right now with this whole thing.
Would it be easier to have us all together that have similar agreements, or do you want How do you wanna handle it?
I'm happy
Meetings.
for what, I can make whatever works best for all of you. I can accommodate that, so
Okay.
let me know.
I mean, if it's more efficient to have the, like I said, and it goes for fire too, you know, and I apologize for not getting back, but we're in a crazy time coming out of October, November he's coming out of harvest, there's too many things going on, but, just a doodle poll to get out to the towns. That's the best thing to send out for scheduling, and then they all put on, you know, you get a couple
Well,
weeks or whatever, and boom, you'll get it back.
After managing the ones for when we were trying to get all the different towns together for fire and EMS discussions, I'm not gonna try to organize the other towns. I think if they want
No.
to have a conversation
No.
with him, they can do that.
Right,
I
right.
think we need to worry about what we need to do with him to get that scheduled initially.
No, but if the city can send those out, or send out, you know, an email, if that's his choice, if he wants to do it separate with us, or, you know, separate with the other
Connect
townships.
with Robin and
We'll work on getting something scheduled with
figure
you
out if
guys.
you'd like me to put one together with dates that I'm available and send out to all of you to see which one works. Is it evenings everyone would like to see? Would that be easier?
Works for
Well-
me, instead of breaking up the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or do you want the entire, I guess from the board standpoint, do you guys all want to be involved in the conversations? Alright.
Yep.
Then I'll work with Drake on getting something scheduled with you guys.
And if you did it with individual townships, then you have to chew your cabbage twice, or it may potentially not be consistent among townships. And I know it's kind of inefficient to have too many people there, but I don't know.
Well, there might be a time where it makes sense to have the townships in one meeting after the initial meetings happen,
Yeah, that could be too, yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing after all those towns right now.
I don't blame you.
The other, I think the town of Lake Mills issues with the city are different than some of the other towns.
I agree.
I feel that
Yeah.
there's plenty of opportunities here to get some intergovernmental agreements going with the city that pertain to the town of Lake Mills, not necessarily
Yep.
Milford,
Yep.
Hatfield, and Warren.
Okay.
I agree.
The other thing,
Yeah.
you said on that, you're gonna set up the,
Yeah, I'll work on setting up a meeting and getting
You
the
want a
information
motion
to you
for that,
guys.
or no? Don't need one.
It's up to you.
I don't need it if you got it. All right.
just one other thing, on the contract. Not being real picky, but some of the things in here were not done per the contract, especially the fire truck acquisition or whatever. It hasn't been bought yet, but I'm sure you read that portion. Missed some dates, I know, so. As far as,
Notification.
yep,
process.
notification to other towns, holding public hearing, blah, blah, blah.
You got forgotten after 18 and a half years, right?
That's why I dug it out to make sure everybody saw what it said, after Jim pointed it out. Okay.
All righty, moving on. Unless you have anything else, you all good?
Unless there's any questions for me on anything?
Good.
Anything that's been burning a hole in your mind you wanted to ask me?
Other than I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
That was nice of you guys to take out some time and come up.
Absolutely.
last time I had to run out with the burning issue.
We figured, I mean, it was just an endless stream going by.
On my way to that meeting, that when I saw that guy burning that leaf pile, I thought, you're a crazy person. So, an hour later, he's got his shed on fire.
It was one of the easiest ones to investigate.
Standing there and the things are 20 feet in the air on a windy night. Anyway,
All righty, moving on, applications. Discussion or decision on applications for operator licenses for Lake Mills Store LLC. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, guys.
it's just, what is this?
It's something I'm required to do for the FSB.
Oh, so you're just gonna put that in the paper?
Did you run
I
these?
posted it.
Okay.
We got a bunch of different things going on here, Dave, so.
So I ran both the applications I have with last name Patel, and I got absolutely nothing back on file. So I stopped at the truck stop and I dropped off my phone number and I said, can you have these people contact me? And I was told they would be in that day. I never got a phone call. And then there was a woman, I think you had emailed, and she had responded, so I used her email, reached out to her and told her that I had a problem with these two. She said she'd look into it and nobody's gotten back to me.
Was that Laura?
I think that's the name, yes.
Okay. And the issue is they have no driver's license number, and I did look into the licensing requirements and stuff, and I didn't see anything stating that a driver's license is required for an operator's license, so it's not like we can't issue them because of that. They don't have one, they don't have one. But I'd be surprised that they don't have some sort of ID, state ID or something, even if they want drivers. But,
So basically, they don't exist.
Well, the thing
Is that what
is,
you're trying to say?
no, they have social
no,
security
the potential
numbers.
is, so I run them through Wisconsin, and it could be any of the other states, or they could be new to the country, and not have obtained one yet, but they do. They live on Jefferson Road in Watertown, so that they are, if they are operating a vehicle, they should have a Wisconsin license within, I think it's 27 days of establishing residency. And if it was out of state, that's no problem, at least I would have something that I could say, okay, this, person kind of exists. It could be as simple as one of them doesn't have a middle initial listed in here, so, but with the information I had, I couldn't find anything on file. I tried to follow up with them personally and also with Boss, and as of right now, I don't have an answer, so.
What did they use to get it notarized?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering, because usually you gotta pour all that information out, or they won't
Yeah.
touch it. It's really odd.
Yeah, Dan at the bank did it, so that would be interesting to know, because you're supposed to, being a notary in the past myself, you're supposed to be able to see an ID before you can notarize it, so I wonder if they use a
Could have been a
passport.
passport or.
Passport or something?
Yeah.
And they do show social security numbers on here, so it could have been a social security card or, whatever else. I thought about calling Dan, but I didn't know if he'd recall, and I'd already tried to reach out to them directly. I thought they would call, so.
Well, I would say from a licensing standpoint, that we put these on pause until we get some answers and maybe
Yeah.
some more information,
Oh, yeah.
just so we can be sure that what we're doing is correct.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do with it right now.
Is this a regular operator's license or manager?
This is supposed to be regular, which one are you pointing at?
Well,
One that's not-
One's not circled.
That's the other thing we'll have to determine is, I have no idea how to say the names, Kumar. We'll need to know whether they're asking for an operator's license or a manager's license, because that's not indicated on the form. So, I'm assuming it's a regular operator's, because the fee they paid was only $30 versus the $50 for a manager's license. So the assumption is a regular operator's license.
Take a move to table those two licenses.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries to table. We also have this Class B thing.
Class B combo.
I don't mean to jump back, but the other question too is whether, what entity are these two operators for? Is it gonna be for the Class B establishment, or is it gonna be for the Class A that's out there? Because they're side by side in the same structure.
Yeah.
So we'll need to know that too. I would assume it's the Travel Plaza, which is the gas station portion, based on what's listed above, but people are so nonchalant about what they write in there that.
Okay.
Okay, so they're the Class B license.
Class B, yep.
All right, so with this one, it's a new license, it's a new LLC, K&M Plaza LLC. They created that, or somehow came up with this one, because based on research I found out from the state, that the establishment that has, or the entity that has the Class A license can't also have the Class B license, is what I understood from the enforcement side at the state level. So they have this other entity that has come in now to possibly run the restaurant when it opens. They did provide us with a premise drawing, which was It took a little while to get from them as far as what the premise for the Class B would be, because that defines what that area is at the state level, even for enforcement there. We will need to appoint the agent that, look here, where'd that go? Where's the name here? Davender Singh?
Davender,
Yeah.
yep.
So there'll be two motions on this one. And I have no idea when the restaurant will actually be open. It may be dependent on whether or not they can get this license, they haven't really indicated.
Kind of the restaurant's just gonna be making a dinner.
No idea.
Something.
What you see is what I got too. I've gotten very little information about it.
Oh, boy.
So then they can come over to the convenience store, buy alcohol.
Why can't they ever
And
show
then
up to
come
like
over.
address these things? To me, that's just, that drives me crazy, because you have questions and you can't even answer them, and you gotta play, you know what, I think they need to come to a board meeting. I'm tired of
Especially on a
dealing
new
with
one.
I'm
If
tired
it's a
of dealing with
renewal,
those
that's
people.
different, but.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, what about that, Robin, is, because on one side they can sell but can't serve, but now on the other side, they're gonna be able to sell and serve. So is that gonna make a big difference if they buy it on one side and go over to the other side and drink it at the table?
Well, it's a big difference if they don't hold the license in the restaurant area. And the trick is that even at the level of the.
You got a doorway
the
separating it
buyers,
or
they
an
have to
open
have two
doorway.
separate.
Right,
They
yeah.
have to have two separate accounts, one for the convenience store and one for the restaurant, because they are two different types of licenses.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you go to a lot of places and they'll have a, you know what I mean, and I don't know what that looks like on the inside, but there's always sealed doors between the two entities, and, I mean, this is like a fifth grader drew that thing.
Well, that was one of my questions on that drawing. There can be no connection between the two, right?
Yeah, and I think that
So
was.
there's no doors allowed on this.
Right, I think that was taken care of by our building inspector when they were doing some work some years ago. I think there's two separate exterior entrances now, one's to the convenience store and one's to the restaurant, but I haven't looked specifically at that.
Well, I would certainly want them to clarify that.
Well, there's no, and should be an engineered drawing, not this
Yeah,
stuff.
I
This
mean,
is ridiculous.
So he can say, he didn't put that door in. See this
They could
vestibule?
change stuff, yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't,
this vestibule, they could throw it, to me, it makes sense to have a door.
Right, yeah.
Come in here and you go either direction,
Go either way.
like it used to be.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I don't think
They
it's
sell liquor
drawing is
anymore.
required though.
Table that one too. Move on.
Before I table, there's some other things that aren't filled out either, like on, Awashti Nitesh. Number 5, he didn't answer whether he, an officer, director, stockholder, agent, employee, he
Yep,
didn't
that's
answer
not
that.
checked, yep.
So he needs to fill that out.
Okay,
You guys do anything. Okay, yep. I make a motion to table this entire thing and have, request the people to show up at a meeting to explain it.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
okay.
Well, it's not fair to you either, Robin. I mean, this stuff is, this place has been a revolving door for,
Yeah. I mean, you gotta
since I've
chase
been
them
here.
down.
Well, they can annex to the city.
Sure, you only say that now after Lake left.
All right, old business. Discussion, update on Drainage District 15 litigation. I did not make that meeting, so I can't tell you what happened during it.
I didn't even.
It wasn't even on the agenda of their meeting.
No,
No.
there wasn't a link, and
Didn't even bother.
I had another conflicting meeting anyway, so. Discussion or decision of boat launch condition and possible bid. There's no news on that. I just described that in
Is that being worked on? Is Corey working on it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I gotta fill that permitting stuff out too. I gotta connect with him here.
And Corey's working on putting an RFP together, correct?
Yes, yep. Yeah, we gave him so many things on his plate.
Yeah,
Just
I was-
taking him a little bit of time. Discussion or decision of proposed policy for compensation of part-time police officers involved in critical incident while on duty. Table, so we need to take that off the table.
Make a motion to bring it off the table.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I think you had some more info for us.
For the policy that
For the
you came up
policy.
with.
So I rewrote it a little bit, then I gave it to Robin, because she's gonna run past
Just
the
recap
legal.
it.
What's
Yeah,
that?
Just recap it, or we need to send it on to legal, I think, where we left it off.
Legal and insurance, so that was the last I
So
understood.
we need a
Official
motion
motion.
to send it to legal.
Okay.
Yes.
I make a motion that we send this compensation of part-time police officers involved in a critical incident while on duty, resolution to the attorney for his review.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right.
Okay, and in the meantime, we'll also send it to the insurance company at the same time.
Okay. Discussion or decision or resolution for town fee schedule 2024 tabled.
I make a motion to bring it up off the table.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Taken off table.
This is ready to go, correct?
Yep, we
You
didn't
made
have
the
any.
changes to
Yeah, there
the
wasn't-
police
yeah.
officers' wages.
Yep, I had provided that to you last month, so everything's ready to go. We just need to do the resolution. to
No
update it.
changes on the building permit schedule.
Correct.
Make a motion that we, you gotta read
I
it?
gotta read this.
Yeah, it's a resolution.
All right. Resolution 2023 Town of Lake Mills fee schedules, whereas the Town of Lake Mills Board has determined that it is prudent to create and update periodically a general fee schedule and a building inspection fee schedules together shall be referred to as fee schedules to provide efficiency, economy, and uniformity in establishing and adjusting the fees charged by the Town of Lake Mills as enumerated throughout the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinances into abbreviated general schedule and a building inspection schedule. And whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedules append the fees in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance, and whereas the fees set forth in fee schedules may be added or amended from time to time by adoption of a resolution, and whereas the town board shall review the fee schedules on at least an annual basis for the purposes of adjusting and updating the fees charged by the town, and any amendments or additions thereto may be made by resolution, and whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedule shall supersede any fee established elsewhere in the town's code of ordinance for the same charge. If a fee is set forth elsewhere in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance or via a resolution and there is no corresponding fee set forth in the attached fee schedules, the fee set forth elsewhere in the Code of Ordinance or the resolution shall control until such time as a fee for the same charge is established in the fee schedules. And whereas the town gives the authority to collect fees outlined on the building inspection fee schedule on behalf of the town to the contractor building inspector Chris Buchke of Safe Build LLC or a designated substitute or replacement upon notice from Safe Build LLC. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Lake Mills Town Board approves the following fee schedule as defined in the attached schedules dated
December 12th.
December 10th, 12th,
Tonight.
2023, and effective upon passage of this adopted December
Resolution.
12th, 2023.
So the resolution number would be 2023-1212.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-1212 Town of Lake Mills fee schedule.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, discussion or decision update on referendum question for proposed town hall facility and requested for additional legal review of information and questions from the town hall facility committee.
All right, so I gave you some questions that we had come up with, and Jim had one as well, that we need to consider sending to the attorney again to get some more clarification from him. I see Greg is here. He's also on the facilities committee, so if I have these incorrect, the questions you had, let me know. All right, so one was, why do the electors have to approve the purchase of land again at the annual meeting when the referendum question states the approval is to purchase bonds for the purchase of land and construction of a new town hall? And then the second one is the referendum question binding or non-binding? And if the referendum question is non-binding, why doesn't the referendum question state that so the electors understand
Yeah, no
that when
kidding.
they are voting? And the last one, it was the question currently states that under the fifth whereas, that the town is required to hold a referendum question in order to issue the general obligation bonds, which isn't true because we are under 3,000 in population, and it was the electors at the last annual meeting that motioned to put the question on the ballot as a referendum. How should that language be written to be clear that the electoral has occurred? So those are the questions we have. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I did find an additional one too.
Okay. Do you want to come up to it?
60.10, 2E and 2G both refer to selling of land and purchasing of land. Also a question about 60.10, 2F, which is town building. That authorizes the town board to purchase, lease, or construct buildings for the use of the town. ... And it goes on to say some other stuff. I'm not clear if it is a requirement to also hold to the electors to say, do we need to authorize you to construct a building? Or is that just to construct a building and other stuff? So, does that make sense?
So
Well, it says new town hall, construction of a new town hall.
but I think you're looking at statutes, the language of
Yes,
statutes.
statutes.
Yeah, statutes,
60.
yeah.
So, at the annual town meeting of the electors, it requires you to authorize the sale of land, purchase of land. And I think with F, asks you to, before constructing anything, but then there's other language in there that talks about like co-op and sharing and other stuff. I'm not sure if that applies to that, or if you just need the authority when you're constructing buildings generally. It's not clear, but so I thought it should
So
be.
it specifically asks about town halls then? It states something specific about town halls?
It just says, authorizes the town board to purchase, lease, or construct buildings for the use of the town. So it's not specific, it just
Just as buildings, yeah.
says buildings. But there's other language on top of it that may be a modifier. I'm not clear on it.
That and it doesn't define buildings versus the purchase and sale of land.
Yeah, those are three separate things. Purchase,
Yeah.
sale,
Yeah.
construct buildings.
Lands, yeah.
So, another one to throw on there.
So I'll have them look at those statute numbers. So it was 6010-2F and 6010-2E. No, it's all right.
E and G were already on there. We already did the purchase and sale.
Okay, so
F
6010-2F.
is the one that I would look at. And a kind of a separate question with that. Do those need to be separate questions? Or can we just lump purchase, sale, and construct all into one other question? So we just have the general obligation bond question and the other three questions lumped in together. They all say the same thing.
So you want,
Well, I don't think it's, to me, the purchase of land and construction of a new town hall are the important things. If you ask the question at the end, you're not gonna need permission to sell this property until this referendum passes. And we've done the entire design, and we've gone out for bids, and we're ready to move, that building's built, and we're ready to move in. This building's staying here until that happens.
Correct.
So that question can be asked anytime.
It can.
And if they don't wanna sell it, they can keep it here, and we'll own two buildings. So to me, that's a mute issue, selling this property. It doesn't have to be done in this.
It doesn't have to, but it does grant the authority for the town to do it whenever they want to or need to do it.
But how long does it last? Does it last 2-3 years?
You can put it in,
Robin asked that question, and she didn't get a
Good
definite
answer on
answer
it,
from
yeah.
him
you can
on that.
put it in there. There's some language in that as well. So you can just set the determined amount of time if we want to, up to blank, right? We can put that in the question.
then if we put it in the
I guess if
questions,
you
that just
don't-
cause more confusion.
Yeah, well,
It's kind of a double-edged sword, because if you don't put it in there, people are gonna be like, well, where's all the money gonna go from the sale of the town? I mean, when it's just
No,
not
we just
there.
answer the question when it comes up.
I just can't see a reason not to ask it, if the board decides not to do that until such a time, right? There's no requirement for that from what I've
Yeah.
seen.
Okay.
I just think you're making
I mean,
too much confusion here with this referendum.
Yeah,
in my
Well,
opinion.
Straightforward and simple.
yeah, I don't disagree with you there, because all that, it's a non-binding deal anyway, and all
Yeah.
it's doing is, because we gotta go back to the electors
Well, we
anyway.
don't know that for sure.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
a question we have.
I don't think that's true, but I don't know, unless
I
you
thought,
guys,
I thought we did, but
who told us that?
What's that?
the attorney that night,
Attorney did that night, was gonna be a non-binding.
he said it's a
referendum.
non-binding referendum, that's what he
Yeah,
told
which is
me.
where we're getting
What's that?
confused.
What night was
The
it?
night when we had the,
Annual meeting.
The annual
yeah,
meeting.
annual meeting.
But yet in the referendum question he prepared for us, he did not put any non-binding language in there at all,
Right,
which is, I think, where our confusion is starting to come in.
That should be big and bold and black. This is a non-binding referendum, and then it should go on to explain.
That's fine.
So
But
be-
when I
it's because
read,
there's a lot of
when I read his
cross-references.
opinion on that question, if the referendum passes, it's a referendum, so if it passes, the town board still makes the decision whether to proceed with issuing bonds.
Correct,
It's our decision.
yes.
So it is automatically non-binding. There's no name me a referendum that's binding.
I think there's
The school board, you have referendums, they don't say non-binding, they're referendums, yes or no. It's up to the school board to proceed if that passes. And it's just like it's up to the town board. It's not,
Yeah, I mean,
if the
that's not,
budget, if it can't work in the budget, we are in charge of the budget, same as the school boards.
it's not necessarily too, if it's a petition referendum that is brought forward by the electors, which is kind of, was the vote to have a referendum
yeah.
done by the electors, and were there enough for it to happen? If that happened and that's the way it went, then that is binding.
I'm just telling you that the attorney that night told us, because of the population, it's a non-binding
Non-binding.
referendum. Even though they made that decision.
Yeah.
At the time, there weren't enough
Yeah.
there to do it.
And now our question is, if it is non-binding, like we are assuming it is, should that language actually be?
But he should be able to answer that in here. That's
Yes.
part of your question.
Yeah, it should
so
just be
it's-
clear,
Yeah.
and that's the big thing.
Right. Okay, thank you, Greg. So we just need a motion
Yep.
for us to be able to move forward and ask these questions of the attorney.
Would it be okay to have number 3, the resolution currently states, not the question? Because it's in the resolution that you're the fifth whereas.
Yeah.
Clears that up.
Where do you look here? If you
Number
look at
2.
the paper.
Number 3,
Number three. Let's see, so-
instead of the question, it's the resolution.
Resolution, yep.
Got it,
And
okay.
then you're gonna add the one that he just, that
Yeah,
Greg just
I'll
put up.
ask how that 6010-2F applies to what we're trying to do, if it applies, and then, can all the referendum questions be lumped together into one question on the ballot?
Make a motion to approve those questions be submitted to the town's attorney.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I missed E on here, discussion or decision approval of the 2024 budget.
Yeah.
So we gotta back up. Yep. Went through my line where I moved the D up.
Oh, we're going back to item E.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, okay.
Which we kinda got done at the electors.
No,
meeting.
we're still in
No.
old business.
Right, we're on.
We're in old business.
Oh, my bad, I jumped,
Oh,
I
yeah.
moved back, my,
Back up.
I jumped way, yeah, I was looking at my lines here.
We're on item F of old
F, yep,
business now.
okay. Discussion or decision of rental of former LM EMS facility for current EMS service provider table.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, so I don't think we, unless Dave.
It's in the works, is all.
All right. New business, discussion or decision on disposal sale of law enforcement computers and lift station for PWC.
Is the computer worth anything?
Can't do that unless the electors approve it.
Yeah, they don't pull much money. I had
This one right here.
11A.
I don't know.
He needs elector approval to sell the town's property. So that has to be a public hearing.
Public hearing for that?
Well, yeah. Electors meeting or whatever. Not a public hearing, but
No, it'd be an electors meeting.
an
Do
electors
we do
meeting.
that, we did do that with the PWC?
Pardon?
Do we do that with the PWC?
Mm-mm.
Should.
All right. So the next electors meeting won't be till spring.
April.
Unless we have a special
Should
one.
be.
Okay.
We could do a special one in January or do it right before our board meeting in January.
Okay.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
That way you're
Can
not
you
sitting
check
on it for
I
4
mean,
months.
It's 2 laptop computers
Make sure.
and that thing's sitting in the park down at,
Well, honestly, I'd like to just get it out of the
no, I
24.
like to take care of things.
Yeah.
And they work and
But
has
we
no
need to
value
put something
to
in
us, but
place that
to
allows us
somebody.
to do that over.
Yeah, not much. I had to
Value.
have
Yeah,
the
because that's kind of
hard drive
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
wiped
crazy.
completely, so
Sure.
it doesn't
Because you're
even have
probably
the
not even
basics on
at
it.
5,000.
And one hard drive
No.
was inoperable, so that's gonna have to be destroyed directly, so there's not much value there, but I didn't wanna just throw them in the garbage either,
We
so.
don't
Sure.
do anything for that.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
Okay,
set
so
up the meeting.
we'll set up an electors meeting then in January to discuss the sale of the items to be disposed of, for them to approve it, okay.
Is there a dollar amount that's required for that sort of
That's
thing?
what we're gonna check.
We don't know. She's gonna check with the.
Yeah.
Cause I've got just a box of random stuff too that I wanted to get out of here, like, just, pieces of people's gun belts that got left behind for someone else to use, and I just wanna clean that drawer out, and it's easier to throw it in the garbage, I can do that too. And I don't even know if those were purchased by the township, those
I'm sure
those
they
parts,
probably were.
potentially.
All right, moving on. Discussion or decision on proposed activities for Joint Rock Lake Committee to work on in 2024. Well, we don't have anybody here tonight to defend any of these.
Yeah, they're not meeting again until January. I think what they're looking for, talking to Wendy, is they're just looking for some guidance of what we want them to focus on. So,
The management policy on the dam is certainly something
Well, they've been working on
I
that.
know they've been working on the issues. So,
these are things that they would like to work on, I think.
yeah, that's all gonna be done by the DNR anyway.
Yeah, well, the dam management is, and that's already been approached to at the council level too, is to get the back checks in place for that, so I don't know, there's a whole lot more to do
They
with that one.
submitted their report and stuff. It's in the DNR's hands right now. So
Development of Sandy Beach is kind of city councils.
Yeah, this list is for both city and town, so.
Yeah,
Milton, city.
city, yeah, the first 3, and then,
I don't care, but the Lake District thing is being done by RILA.
I think there's an ad hoc committee that's formed to look into the Lake District.
Yeah, but it's not the Joint Rock Lake Committee,
No,
so why are they working on it?
and you guys can
We could
instruct
just
them not to.
take that one off. And then supporting adequate water patrol of Rock Lake. You don't have any issues with that one, right?
What's that? Yeah.
Supporting adequate water patrol of Rock Lake, I mean, if they help with that, or,
Well,
I mean, you go to
could they-
one of their meetings anyway.
They invited me as a speaker, I
Yeah.
wasn't there to partake.
I guess we would need to know what we want them to do to support that. Right?
Yeah, for now, I guess take that one off. Continuing to educate the public regarding Rock Lake issues such as beach berries, boating, safety, and invasive species. I have no problem with that one. Boat launches is vague. I don't know what that means. So take that one off. And invasive species, yes. So we got everything except for,
So really, from the town standpoint, it's continuing education of public regarding Rock Lake issues and then invasive species.
Yep.
Did we,
those are good things to tackle for 24. You don't want, you want a huge list anyway. You won't get anything done.
do you need a motion to
Yeah.
give them direction on
Yeah.
that?
Okay, I'll make a motion that that they should, Joint Rock Lake Committee should work on continuing to educate the public regarding Rock Lake issues such as beach advisories, boating, safety, and invasive species, and invasive species.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right, I have some direction to focus on.
Yeah, and then if the council wants to give
Yeah.
some of that city stuff, that's their
Right.
prerogative. All right. C, discussion or decision on Jefferson County survey about erosion control and stormwater management ordinances. Here we go.
Okay, Steve Nass gave a little insight on this. Six county board members brought this up to the county board. County board has not approved any of this yet. They haven't held any hearings on it, nothing like that. They're doing a kind of a feasibility study to see what's all gonna be involved, and if there's any costs related to it. Some of the issues they're looking at are towns have building inspectors that do this work now as far as soil erosion. And how can the county manage this? They have to hire people maybe, they have to, without issuing the building permits, how do they know where the construction sites are within the county? So there's a coordination issue there with the towns. And then there's inspection, periodic inspections of the silt fences and things. Counties, I can't see them doing that myself, but
Well, we didn't even do it in Bridle Pass, so, let alone the county doing it.
and so what they're basically looking for is the town's opinion, whether they should pursue these two ordinances or not, any further. So
I mean, are they staffing it, or how are they gonna,
they don't know.
they have no idea.
Like I said, they have to do a whole study on it.
To me, if it was staffed, or they had the,
They don't have staff that can do this now.
No,
Yeah.
they don't, for sure.
because then I would be all overboard. I'd be like, yeah, go
Well,
for it.
that's what's gonna happen. All the towns are gonna say, okay, you do all the building inspection in the whole county. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
So, and they I don't think are prepared to do this.
So
Yeah.
you
It's
said
a
it
lot,
was
there's a lot there.
It was a
Yeah.
group of county supervisors that suggested these?
6 of them out of, how many are there? 30? 20, 30 something?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
I know the county's hoping for some feedback on this.
Yes.
So,
Whether you're in favor of it or not, or explain how you do it now, basically, it's done through the building inspection.
the building inspector does not do any erosion control. He tells the people to get that from the county at our town.
Yeah, I mean, because they never got taken
Because they take
down
out the
all that.
land use permits, or the zoning permits when they are building a house, and that's
Yeah.
the trigger for the erosion control. Our building inspector, he'll tell them, get some erosion control out there, but he doesn't do the enforcement of it.
I mean, do I think it's good from an erosion standpoint and all that? Yes, but who's gonna do it? I don't know.
Right now, it's
I don't
just-
know what else to tell them. I guess you tell them those two things. It's all fine and dandy, but
If they say, from a logistics
Who's gonna
standpoint, knowing
enforce
how
it?
some of this permitting works, if we had it where it was set up, kind of like the fire number, where the person has to show up with the uniform fire code number, application that's approved in hand in order to get a building permit, maybe an erosion control plan needs to be in hand, or a permit in hand when they come to get their building permits, that might be the trigger to help balance this off.
Sure,
This off,
yeah.
but then have the erosion control managed at the county. That's the only way I can see this working, without it being really cumbersome on the towns. where there's some that are stronger in the building code area, and there's some that bare minimum. There's no consistency amongst the towns on how they
Right.
do building codes, so.
So the consensus is if we want to do this, go for it, but towns aren't going to be doing it for them.
Yeah, that's, I think that's as good as, because there's not, I mean, it's descriptive on what needs to be done, but who's gonna do it?
Right.
So
That's the
you're gonna write
feedback?
the letter? I make a motion that we send the county a letter with those items as stated.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, now down to discussion or decision on approval of the 2024 budget.
We just need to approve it. We've done everything else with it, we just
At the
need the
electors,
final
yeah.
approval, yeah.
Can we get a motion?
To approve the 2024 budget.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, discussion and our decision of informational mailing for referendum question on bonding for proposed new town hall facility.
Okay, so we want to do a postcard this time. It's going to be a little bit less, just a bare minimum as far as the information that's required for referendum information. This is above and beyond the official notifications that have to be done.
Right.
And the estimated cost was about $1,000, which I don't know if that actually calculated in the increase in postage at the time that I got that estimate, when I started thinking about it. So we might want to do like 1,100 for the cost, because I think it goes up at the beginning of the year, doesn't it, Sharon?
About the middle of January.
Yeah, so the postage is gonna go up. So, we just need approval of the cost of the mailing, to have, Leader Printing do that again for us.
And then you're gonna put on there for information purposes only, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yep, otherwise you get in trouble.
All right, can we get a motion for that?
What do you want, up to 1,200?
Yeah, just to be, obviously, we're gonna keep it less than that if we can, but just in case the postage costs
Yeah,
are
yep.
what we expect.
I'll make a motion to approve not to exceed $1,200 for the mailing of the referendum question and the bonding for the bonding purpose of the town hall facility.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion and our decision of appointments for election officials 24-25.
Okay,
So
so,
we got a list.
the names are Amy Phillips, Beth Weichman, Carol Hesse, David Nunley, Deb Nunley, Jen Gertz, Jerry Schultz, Karen Johnson, Kathy Mock, Lori Otto, Linda Lira, Linda Richardson, Linda Zwicker, Madigan Unz, Margaret Hannerhan, Nancy Lang, Paul Wakeman, Sue Dale, and Timothy Clattenbach.
Make a motion to approve the election officials.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Is there a primary?
We don't,
You don't know?
I don't think we know yet for sure.
Didn't I read someplace where you could actually opt out of a primary? thought
I don't
read
know if you
some-
can for. when
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
bigger
thought too. It's like if
races.
you have more than,
Yeah,
you know,
I know there's,
two candidates.
for, at a town level, we could enact a ordinance that, say we have town board members or offices that are up for election, say we get 3 people that are interested in one of the positions, we can have an ordinance in place that just puts all 3 of them on the
Oh,
spring
okay,
ballot.
maybe that's what I was reading.
Yeah, to avoid having just that one
Right, yeah,
race,
and that,
yeah.
All right, I, amendment, discussion or decision of, oh wait, here, yep. Discussion or decision of amendments to Town Ordinance 5-4 subdivision as recommended by town attorney.
So I used Jim's suggestions and made a draft of this for you guys.
Make a tell you what the Plan Commission's recommendations were to, number one, bring it into compliance with state statutes 236.13, and number three, requiring developers to complete the installation of public improvements before the developer provided financial security lapses. Those are the two recommendations. They didn't like the option of making them file a final plat before any homes all the utilities had to be completed before the final plat was approved, or it's recorded. They didn't want to do that one, because they could still walk away and you have no financial security.
Right.
No, yeah.
Needed the financial security.
So in the draft that I sent to Jim, did I capture all the items that you?
Yes.
Okay. The one question I have is the highlighted one. I've had a hard time reading your handwriting
It's
there.
236.13, parents 2, parents AM,
AM, okay.
parents 1, point C.
Okay. Got it, okay.
So basically, the attorney said it's not legal to have it subject to approval by the town attorney, so in that first paragraph, that's why that's struck out of there. Second thing, you can go up to 120% for a bond, certificate of deposit, irrevocable letter of credit, certified check, or other security in amount equal to the 120%. Then we added the last sentence, within the 14 months of the established substantial completion date per Wisconsin statute section, so that allows you to hold that security for 14 months based on that statute. And then in number 2, we added the last sentence of structures in the land division located within the jurisdiction of Town of Lake Mills. The following public improvements shall be substantially completed by the subdivider or contractors, and then it lists those. And then number 3, on the second page, that all public improvements requiring guarantees shall be completed no later than 12 months from the established substantial completion date of the public improvements. Failure to complete the public improvements within the 12 months following the established substantial completion date shall be a breach of the development agreement, allowing the local government to draw on the financial security as a contractual remedy. So you can hold the money for 14 months. They have to be completed and approved by within 12, so if they haven't done that, you've got 2 months to get a contractor to finish the project and draw off the security money.
Now, these amendments, so that we move forward to public hearing, right?
Right.
Yes, and maybe you want to send them to the attorney prior to that
Okay.
to review, and then hold the public hearing after that.
Yep, that's fine with me.
So make a motion that we send these amendments and changes to the 5-4 ordinance to the attorney for review and comment.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, correspondence.
Don't really have any.
I didn't mention it in roads, but Matt Hazel contacted me, and he's starting to work on trees.
Trees.
Problem trees, and then the one that Jason just emailed out the other day.
I guess it would be.
I saw that one today, so it's pretty bad.
It would be good to remind individuals or property owners to remove things that are in the road right of way that shouldn't be there, whether it be trimming back their own trees or,
Yep.
Decorations, yard signs, all that kind of stuff should come out before snow plowing has to occur.
Yep.
Because they're gonna get damaged.
Matt must have went out and filled some potholes too.
Yeah, there's a couple more that have surfaced, but he tends to do it if.
So he's just kind of periodically policing it? Because I know I saw a couple that they were there yesterday.
Yeah, when he's around, I mean, yeah.
Well, good.
I mean, I hope, we
It's
can
nice to keep up with them.
keep up with it. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna hold
Well, yeah, I
this
know,
time
but,
of the year, but
yeah,
we get the snow plow go through there one time and.
yeah, freeze, water, or anything.
All right, discussion,
I've got correspondence in the Towns Association magazine. It was for the district meetings registration form. This year, they're going to have training for board review on that. The closest one here is February 3rd. That's an in-person one down at Whitewater, the brew house. $65. Or you can do it virtually April 1st, 2024. So the question is, who's going to volunteer to do it this year?
what's the third?
I guess I will.
I can do it.
What is the
Either
cost? What is the cost?
$65 early registration, either one, which I think is a ripoff because you get lunch down there. You listen,
That's
do
a
it on
Saturday.
virtual, you don't
That's a
get any lunch.
Saturday.
Well, and you have to get it registered pretty quick because they tend to fill up.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do the in-person one.
April 1st is a Monday. April
Yeah,
Fools.
and that's April 1st in the morning.
And I can't do that because that's on election day, I believe, is it not? Or is that not election day
That's
yet?
9 till
No, that's a Monday.
11:30.
That's
but
a
it's-
Monday? Okay, so the next day is election day, so I will not be in the
You
mode of
won't
board
do,
review.
you won't do that one.
If you go in person, the other topics are the agricultural road improvement program, overview, and shared revenue.
Well, if somebody
update.
wants to go to the bar and not remember anything the next day, it's.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I would volunteer to go in person. But, I've done it the last 2 years.
Yeah, somebody else should step up to do it. I would do it, but April is not gonna work for me. February possibly could, if I can get in.
I do the online one, but that's my choice, I guess.
Well, you can both do it.
Yeah. It's good for 2 years?
One.
It's
One
only
year.
good
It
for
used to
1
be
year
2
now.
years.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
only
know,
2
it's ridiculous.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll
We'll
leave
try
it
it.
up to you guys to.
we'll try to get something figured out, so one of us is certified in it. Okay.
Discussion of future agenda items.
So I possibly have the public hearing for the 5-4. We might have the special electors meeting for the sale of items we'd like to get rid of. I know I have a rezone application that just came in today. We've got the Class B license that we need clarification on, the operator's licenses, then just kind of the tabled items that just keep sitting on the table.
Right. Everything we didn't
Anything-
deal with tonight.
Anything else in January that we can think of that?
Got rid of a few tonight anyway.
You got resolutions in January or February?
It might be,
A budget.
it might be February, just so that we can make sure we get all of 2023's costs into 2023 accounting. Maybe we won't have any. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Okay, meeting schedule, December 14th, which is this Thursday, Parks Committee meeting, 7 PM Town Hall. January 2nd, 2023, Plan Commission meeting, 7 PM Town Hall. January 11th, 2023, Joint Rock Lake Committee, 6 PM City Hall. January 11th, 2023, Town Hall Facilities meeting, 6 PM at the Town Hall. January 9th, 2023, Town Board meeting, 7 PM at the Town Hall. And potentially an elector's special meeting before that, on the same date. All right, can we get a motion to move into closed session?
I want to make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. And that motion is for 19.85, the nature of business to be considered in the closed session is following: discussion and review of the Town of Lake Mills Conservation Rural Property Office to purchase, delivering, or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session pursuant to 19.851E Wisconsin statute.